Hi, I'm at the Corinth Canal, and this is absolutely fabulous. I've never seen this before. I'd like to show you how I edit the photo that I just took of a beautiful sailboat going underneath the bridge. First of all, I'm using the mobile app version of the Lightroom CC, and it's in the horizontal version if it doesn't look exactly like yours. So what I'd like to do is show you some possible scenarios that you may have when you're photographing with various lens qualities. Now let me show you. The rock cliffs or walls of the Corinth Canal are actually quite fantastic to look at. They're very, very detailed. And while my lens using my Fujifilm turned out really well, there are times when if you're using maybe a kit lens that you don't find that you have the graphic look, the really crunchy look of rock that you want. So a very simple way to do that is to go to our selective editing tools. Using the app, it's this little icon, and then we're going to go to plus, and we're going to go to our brush. And whenever we're doing any brush work, we have to pay for the monthly Adobe fee, and that's just a reality, and I believe it's worth it, by the way. So whenever we have the brush open, we first choose a size, and we're only going to be painting on the rock, so not the water. And I would say probably 22 is fine. And for feather is a little bit up to the type of picture and the type of editing you're doing. I don't want too much feather, so around 50%, because I don't want the water so much to be affected. I like the water the way it is, and I like also this really nice sailboat. So now I'm just going to paint on the rock because I'm going to show you how to make the rock a little bit more crunchy and contrasty. Okay, now I purposefully went into the water just a little bit to show you how to easily correct it. So we're going to go to our eraser tool, and within the eraser, as you can see, I can fine-tune any mistake that I made. So we don't want anything in the water there. Okay, and we can actually go back to the brush and even fine-tune, add a little bit more. Okay, good. So at this point, we're going to go to our effects area. And by the way, this is what the tool is for effects, what the icon looks like. And now we're simply going to be using texture. Now texture is a really interesting tool that's, I think, primarily made for skin tone. At least it works really well. Where if we go to the left, we can soften skin tone. And if we go to the right, obviously we're adding texture. And what I find is that if you have a lens that's just a little bit soft, adding texture for things that actually have texture in them to begin with, like the rocks, works really well. So let's go to 100%. Now let's go the opposite way to -100. And as you can see, the boat and the water have not changed, but the rock has. Now I can't imagine why you'd ever want a -100 texture for rock, but it's there. We want a lot of texture for the rock. We want to make the rock in this Corinth Canal really pop out. So maybe 100 is a little bit too much. I would probably take it down to maybe 60 or 70. But this just shows you what you can do whenever you want to add texture or even remove it for certain situations. And again, texture is a really good tool for skin tones, and that's, I think, primarily what it's made for. Okay, so I like this, and I'm going to go to the check mark, and we are all set. Now, just a word about composition. I usually am a big fan of what's called equidistance. So if we go to the crop tool, as you can see at the bottom right, we have a discrepancy here with regards here, let me show you. I'm just going to go to the unlock tool. And this would be a little bit more appropriate where the amount of rock wall at the bottom left is equivalent to the amount on the bottom right, meaning the space. However, in this picture, there's a little problem because I didn't photograph it straight on. So as you can see at the very top, we have the top of the canal, the water is off center. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. What are we going to do? So I feel that in this picture, I want the priority to be the sailboat. So that's why I'm going to have the sailboat centered and just keep the crop as it is. So what did you think of that? I would love to hear your comments below. And this is a really good way for you to selectively add texture to your pictures. I took this photo while traveling to a different island in Greece this past Greece photo workshop, and I invite you to the next one. It's at markhemmings.com. And we have a lot of fun learning great stuff like this and seeing cool places like this Corinth Canal and many other locations. Have fun with your photography. Check back tomorrow for another free lesson.